And again, it's just everything that Void did to set the team up for success. Not only does he get the first blood, Matt, but he's able to back out and he's able to buy just enough time to where Skyfox Studio does not feel comfortable getting that bomb down. He buys just enough time for the rotation of X Element to where that entire round for Skyfox
3. And look at where Void has kind of found himself. I'm not sure if they've made themselves aware to his positioning quite yet. He may have the perfect time to strike here. Pops 2, finds 1, finds 2. And it's exactly the play you want to see from Void.
Jalen Hurts is on this team. This time it's Jibian. X Element, though, with all the information to work with, all the angles to use, going to find themselves in a...
It's like they'll send Grim around on a little bit of a wrap here to watch the outside, but Void, again, the first blood machine that he is, just continues to do it here in map number 5, and we're drawn up better.
Just backing them up. They still have to maintain these spawns, though. Skyfox Studio, they will be able to spawn in over towards his P2 side, but getting diced to pieces is surely going to shine. Let's get it going.
And already into the Void will be Void as he's able to find 2 alive.
Well, just batting down every initial instance of pressure here. Skyfox Studio, you'll make your way at the very least into your blue building, but that's not really sure that you talked about again, though. 10 playing for the life disparity, starting to gives a little bit of a lane here for X Element as they chase him down to maybe make an approach over towards this B side, which is exactly what they will. You still have to deal with Skip, who's found himself in the back. All right, we're gonna get it back going, ready to go. Act like that first time never happened. This is the first time. What do you mean? Hacienda Hardpoint, Skyfox Studio, X Element, hopefully no buggy kill streaks will make anything happen. Skyfox Studio already off to a crazy start.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 dead in the feed almost immediately for the side of Skyfox Studio. Devin from the backside able to tag up 1, but it's already going to be almost 15-20 seconds of uncontested time here for the side of Skyfox. X Element on the back foot for P2 as well, and Quinn almost a worse position than they were in the first time.
Oh, X Element, though, they're able to fire back ever so slightly. Unfortunately, as you said, Skyfox Studio just off to the races. There's not a whole lot stopping the momentum. And you talk about reset cheese. I mean, you lose a player, you don't look like you have lost a step, though. Eventually going to make their way over towards that P2 side. X Element starting to prioritize the rotation a little bit earlier, though. It's nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, you're just getting cut down on every single side right now. Quinn, the only man that's able to find a kill so far on these rotations. It's already been a 30-second lead off of P1. You've got P2 on almost Fort Knox lockdown. You've just got to get the kills to justify, but 2 big ones for X Element.
A little bit of a pinch from the door side. It's just not going to happen, though. Again, the gunnies from the side of Skyfox Studio just continue to be the defining factor. Skip already off to the races himself, continuing to apply the streak and the pressure. X Element, just not a whole lot of lanes that they can really find their way into this. There's a lot of brute force techniques that are needed. They're finding a couple of kills to make their way on forward. Can they get the break is the question.
They have to find it here and now. I mean, you don't want to go down almost 80 points off rip. You finally get yourself into the hill, but again, the kill's not going to be there for you. It's 2 from JBN and Grim Melts. Elias up from the side, able to make an impact here. Finds 1, finds 2. Finally finds some hill time for X Element.
But again, you're already down by 60 points. You touch in for the scrap of the second hill. X Element not looking good early on here. Eventually, Skyfox Studio, they're going to trace their way over towards this P3 side, which again, you need to be seeing X Element do a little bit more of. Void will be here for the boys in white. Unfortunately for him, he's going to meet some heavy resistance early.
Heavy resistance, and it's going to be more kills in the feed, and I feel like we just keep saying it over and over again, Quinn. How many times are they going to be able to just continuously put them in the grave? Finally, Devin from the top side is able to trade 1 out, but immediately right back in it is Skyfox Studio with another 3 dead in the feed, and already up over that 80-point threshold. They still got 40 seconds left to work.
Hey, you hit it from the one side, it doesn't work. Can you hit it from the other side and maybe make it work? A 2-for-2 trade will allow X Element to be able to contest on in. Get that white hill time going. Murakami will be shut down over towards the hillside as well. 27 seconds left to work here for X Element. Skyfox Studio trying to find their lane, reback, and get breaking back on in. The contestation is through, and it just feels like an effortless endeavor for the boys in yellow.
Couple of shots come on in. Another contestation from the side of Skyfox Studio. And it's really how they've loved to play this hill. Just contest, contest, contest. Stay alive for as long as you can. And we're just going to force X Element to make off, force the rotation on over. And look at where Skip is right along the backside slithering up. Finds 1, finds 2. And that's going to be the rotation sent to the bin. Skyfox Studios 3 dead and a full hold on P4.
And again, the X Element did everything that you needed to there, but check your backside. You had Randy Orton in your back lines, completely shutting things down. Now from the front lines, X Element are going to have to make the reapproach on in, but Jimmy just cannot be shut down. Skip his duo as well. Quit will be able to find 1 in the mayhem, but it's just a reset once again for the side of X Element as Skyfox Studio will have enough credence to break that 100-point barrier. Just not a whole lot going here for the boys in pink.
Nothing going, Quinn. I mean, it's 118 to 33. Again, you're in a worse position than you were the first time. Elias tries to find his way into the hill. He finds one, couple of trades going either which way. Now Grim Melts gets himself in the fray and finds two.
Oh my god!
Sits him down, and again, Skyfox Studio taking full control. Skyfox Studios continuing to find control here. I mean, just shutting everything down. X Element, I mean, there's seemingly nothing that you can do. 132 to 37. It's an absolute dominating show here through the first set of hard points. But again, how does X Element find their way back into this after such a dominating lead?
Matt, we are down by 100 points on the second P1. You gotta hit the panic button if you're X Element. You see Elias soaking up all of this time. That's exactly what you need to be doing here, but you're not getting the kills to justify. Again, Skip is just wreaking hell in your backlines. Eventually, Jibian will find his way on through. I think the interesting thing about the Skyfox Studio team as well is Grim, typically the player that you have seen in the past be that pop-off player, is kind of taking a backseat. He's had his great moments, but it's the rest of this team that's really carrying the weight.
And I mean, that's all Grim needs him to do, right? We've seen Grim time and time again be able to put this team on his shoulders. You were wondering when the supporting cast was really going to be there with a full 4 squad, and you see it. Skyfox Studios is looking absolutely top tier and showing you why they are the #1 team in the league currently and undefeated in this round.
X Element's going to do a little bit of damage over towards this P2 side. They'll solidify at least for a couple of seconds. You deal with Murakami, who's lit up in your back line. So now you have an opportunity maybe here if you're X Element. You're still down by over 100 points. And Jibian's just handing out free back shots in your back lines. I mean, this is already just a complete breakdown disaster. Eventually, Elias will be able to find some stabilization in the mayhem with 2 kills. Void on the other side of the coin will shut a couple down himself. Spawning on the back lines here if you're Skyfox Studio, some divine intervention, trying to find your way back in if you're X Element.
And this is a perfect position to find your way right back into this hard point. I mean, you still got 30 seconds left to put yourself up over the 100-point threshold. Start cutting into the lead. Murakami, though, going to make sure that that does not happen. 2-piece with a third from JBN. Only leave 1 left standing. He's in the water, and now he's drowning. JBN puts him down.
It's just effortless from the side of Skyfox Studios. They're inching their way towards that 200-point barrier. It's still a little bit of ways from winning it, but it just feels like X Element just mentally are out of it. Again, the slow rotation on top of it. X Element, they're not going to be here in time. Skyfox Studios is just going to have full credence over towards his P3 side. Grim with a justifiable kill on top of it. Leaves Quit all alone in a one-man band scenario, and his drum's not going to be beaten here, Matt.
No, I mean, you're not even going to be able to hear it, even if you were a centimeter away from it, Quinn. 180 to 88. X Element just trying to find a way here into P3. Finally going to get the 3 dead, and finally going to make their way in for what seems like could be seconds of build time. Murakami, what is that, Quinn? Why? Why? Why?
I mean, when you are handing the beatdown of the century out, and between a bitter rivalry like this, why not? If you're Skyfox Studio, Skip, just the impact plays that he continues to make, shutting everything down from the front lines. X Element filed towards the backside. 20 seconds left over towards the P3 side. Skyfox Studio look assured to cross that 200-point barrier, and they're going to have the rotation, Matt. What is happening?
X Element is just getting beaten on every single rotation here, Quinn. Every single rotational gunfight just seems to be going in the grave. And it's the trades. The Skyfox Studio is always sending one more player than X Element is expecting off these rotations. Finally, you're able to get back in. And X Element will take advantage of that. Skyfox Studio is a little bit more behind, but can they get the gunfights to go for them?
It's just the trade battle at this point in X Element. I mean, you can't be playing that. You have to have a definitive play here. And now Jibian, 25 and 16, he's looking to add to his tally as well. Skip on the other side of the coin will give him a little bit of help to further clear out this hill. And now the Rock Hill in possession of Skyfox Studio. They can win it here.
Right here, right now, but X Element trying to make sure it at least goes to another set of rotations, but you gotta get the kills to go for yourself. Multiple kills going the way of Skyfox Studios. You have to bang your way on in from the front. JVN not gonna be able to find the first, but Skip is there, finds the trade, finds 2, looks for the 3rd! He'll absolutely find it, and that might shut things down. They won't be able to win it necessarily right here, Quinn, but you get yourself very damn close.
I mean, Skip, it's video game-like numbers in a video game. Ridiculous what this man is able to do. He'll finally be shut down. X Element, a couple of seconds of reprieve, but again, you need to sell your soul for P1, P2, P3, P4, and that's not even going to be enough to get you back into the mix of this. This is surely over. Skyfox, they're going to have full clearance over towards mid. You're just trying to get past the gunny of Grim at this point, and that's not a wise bet to be making. Completely shut down. Skyfox Studio looking to run away with it.
109, Quinn. You talked about it. I mean, it's not quite the 100-point club, but it gosh darn might as well be. You are barely even scratching the surface of 100 right now. Skyfox Studios, 4 seconds needed, 3 seconds. Finally get him off the hill for a little bit of White Hill time, but how long are you just going to delay the inevitable here, Quinn?
Yeah, it's just waiting to happen. 1 point needed. Grim over the top deck will finally be able to collect it for the side of Skyfox Studio. And it's belt to ass early on. I mean, X Element, there's just not a whole lot of reprieve to be found within that first map. It is the full-out domination from the boys in yellow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's words that can describe what we just watched, Quinn. I mean, that was an absolute shellacking right there. You can't barely get over the 100-point threshold, Quinn. You were never really on top of the rotations. You were never really on top of the gunfights. Just seemingly nothing going their way. And I mean, Quinn,
God.
You talk about the reset. Jeez, it was Skyfox Studio that was leading in the first match. It was Skyfox Studio that had a player lag out. And it was Skyfox Studios that seemed to be playing even better after they came back from the reset.
Yeah.
That was an absolute dominating performance. You head into S&D, which again, you've talked about it. This has been a struggle point for the side of X Element, really looking to kind of nail something home here in an S&D. And you're going up against a Skyfox Studios squad who S&D for a majority of the part they've been in the UFGL.
Yeah.
That's been their bread and butter. It's been their identity, and it's been what they love to call home.
No, and I think that disparity that you're pointing out is very important to point out because X Element, it felt like your win condition early on had to be the hard point. You're going into a Skyline S&D where things just are not going to look good. You've had moments of dominance, you've had moments of brilliance, but then you've been reverse swept practically on the S&D just last week by Houston. Again, it was a 5-1 scoreline. You have, 6 attempts to close things out, and it just does not work. You just have to have a little bit more ice. You have to have the ability to finish the marathon, not just start it. If you're X Element, if you're an X Element fan, speaking for one right now, this Skyline S&D is not where you want to be.
No, and especially because I feel like this map just allows Skyfox to just snowball into even further, right? You're coming off a Hacienda, which they were absolutely flying. You saw it, even on the hills that they weren't on the rotations, they were down to just play that bully ball style. We'll send it through the front as many times as it takes, and we're going to show you that our gun skill is going to outweigh yours. On a map like Skyline, where it can become so one-dimensional inside of that kitchen, this is exactly the kind of map that Skyfox wants to see heading into a map 2, and you talked about it, exactly the opposite of what the boys in pink want to see. We head on into it, though. Can X Element find a way back into this one? And already we'll be into the kitchen.
Set nades in the kitchen, looking to cook something up over towards this A-bomb site of Skyfox Studio, but the set nades are at least going to back them up for the time being. You're seeing Void trying to make the route through. It's going to be Elias, though. The frontline pressure to break things down for Skyfox that much more early within this round of 2v4.
Element, good start at least to this round here. Grim will drop as well. So now Skip, last alive, 1v4, and he'll be able to find one, but really no more than that. X Element solid around after they found the first 2 kills, really just about closing things out, and that's exactly what they were able to do. And that's really exactly what you want to see X Element do after really getting slammed in a first hardpoint map like that, Quinn.
Yeah, absolutely. And Elias with 3 kills on the round. I mean, again, this is a player that we know what he can do. We know how dangerous he can be when he gets active. You're just looking to activate your power stars early on if you're X Element. The thing that, again, scares me is the fact that we've seen them go up 5-1 and then lose a map. So you're never feeling comfortable on an S&D, but that at the very least is a good start.
No, absolutely. And for Skyfox Studio as well, we've seen them kind of play these first couple rounds with those healers, right? They want to test you out. They want to see what you like to do, and then they want to come up with the perfect counter for it. So far, I can't come up with a counter to the gunfights, Quinn. It's already another first blood for X Element.
Again, you're just trying to play the first blood game with your X Element. Being up a man on S&D is pivotal. Set yourself up for success on the attacker side. You're not necessarily taking any map control here early on if you are X Element, but you're going to have the credence to do so with that opening kill. You gotta be very careful though, because Skip might have the play to turn this on his head.
Oh, it's a great read though out of Elias there, able to check the corns, able to find the kill. Now it'll be Grim that tries to get himself into the play. The COD timing just not really going his way, and another 2v4 situation here for the side of Skyfox. Bomb planted as well adds as just a little extra deterrent, and now you're just gonna have to find the first kill. Rikami shooting the ghosts right now. All right.
Unlike Sam Darnold, he's going to connect on them. My goodness. I mean, for Skyfox Studio, you're looking at a kitchen that's like locked down like Fort Knox. You're not going to get in there. Not even Gordon Ramsay could get into this one. X Element looking to take this second round on the board. It will be through a nice quick 2-piece. Again, you're just looking at that round. You're looking at everything that X Element did right there. You start off with the first blood. You play the slow and steady game. A great read out of Elias to make sure things didn't go too in the fray. You're just playing the steady S&D. That's what you like to see.
No, absolutely, and I think for X Element, that's a real good way to play for them, Quinn. I honestly like them not aggressing after they get that first blood, because right now what they're more worried about is getting those cushion rounds, right? You know Skyfox Studio most likely is going to have a turn-up point in the midway of this S&D. You want to get in the bank as many of these rounds that you can early on, give yourself that lead. But again, Quinn, as you mentioned, a 5-1 lead wasn't good enough for them last week. We really want to see what they do in the later part of this.
You gotta close if you're X Element. Skyfox Studio aggression over towards this A side, but the RC car might be an additional factor. Elias wants to play some Rocket League, and by God, he will. Devin with the opening kill on top of it will give X Element good positioning on this defensive side. You gotta watch out for Skip, though, who's aggressed his way on forward. Eventually will get cut down himself, bomb trapped, and now for Skyfox Studio, the attacker side not looking good.
Another kill here with Grim, and both these players here kind of isolated over towards this back corner. You have the player hitting a pinch as well. This could be a huge position here from Yuri coming. Finds the first, not going to be able to find the second. Damage is done though. He's able to find the first kill, but now things into a 1v1. Both players on opposite sides of the map right now. Bomb should be able to be recollected here from Grim.
Oh, is such a big play needed here from Grim. He's going to get the plant for free, though. That's going to be the additional opportunity for Skyfox Studio to just set themselves up for full success. The big wraparound play for Devin. Is it going to work, and is the positioning going to play in his favor? Or does Grim maybe have this read, Matt?
The problem for Devin is this play has taken a very, very long time, and now he's only got 30 seconds left to find the defuse. Now the Grim, I believe he's got the timing, I believe he's got the information. Yep. Tags are in, that's going to be good enough to at least stall the plant. Devin may go ahead and hop this, but I don't think it's going to work out for him if Grim's able to find a check, and he will. That'll be the round, and Skyfox Studio on the board.
Skyfox Studio able to stabilize in another attacker side round, make things that much more manageable for them in the S&D. Definitely build in their favor to start things off. Just a really good read from the side of Grim there. Playing the long game, playing your angles, getting that bomb down when you had the clearance. Just sets yourself up for so much success and puts Devin in such an awkward spot. Now for X Element, the question becomes, what's the regain look like? We've seen how you can dominate an S&D. How do you react when you get punched in the mouth?
Void's going to have that bomb for the side of X Element. Looks like it's one to make its way very quickly towards the top side here. A little bit of pressure here. Skyfox is going to have to back off. The nade good from Jibian here will delay the pressure for a second. He'll do some damage, allow Skyfox Studio to reposition themselves in for the defensive hold. And now X Element, you have to decide what you want to do here. It's almost the entirety of the Skyfox Studio roster is inside of B2.
Oh yeah, what a huge nade from Jibian. I mean, that completely makes this play manageable. Eventually, X Element, they're going to trace their way over towards the A side where they will have the clearance to get the plant, but not before Skyfox Studio is at least going to apply a little bit of pressure from the outskirts side, trying to work the pinch on top of it as well. Number 2 and 3, that's Grim and Skip going in the bottom portion of the map, and will this be red is the question. You have Quinn in the backlines, who should be that player that can mitigate the pressure here, but he'll be cut down as well, and hold on, wait a minute.
Announced information onto both of these players as well, so now X Element's going to know exactly where you're coming from here. Tags in from Elias for good on the first. Shots in almost good for the second. Grim's too weak to do anything about it. And X Element is able to put another round up on the board. And again, Quinn, it's these first bloods that just continue to go the way of X Element. And in that round particularly, I mean, you said something that was perfect. JVN hits the perfect stall nade to allow his team to hit the rotations on, but it's almost an over rotation. You don't allow anyone to stay over towards that A site just to make sure that it's not a second guess on the side of X Element. X Element hits the quick rotation down through onto the kitchen side, and again, just completely flips the script for Skyfox.
I mean, there's a level to it on top of that as well, where Skyfox Studio, they're not able to aggress as much as you maybe should. And X Element with the first blood there, they're just able to set themselves up for success even in the face of pure disaster. It's a very good round for them, good stabilization when things go wrong. Now over towards the A side once again, where Skyfox Studio found some good success, but it's going to be Devin that strikes first with the blood onto Skip. Elias as well sliding on through, another 2-for-1 trade to favor the X Element boys. Skyfox Studio, bomb trapped. This is a tough spot.
It seems like every single round is just that 2-for-1 opening trade in favor of X Element. Elias is able to find the shots to turn it now into a 1v3, and Murakami's got a lot to deal with here. Shots onto the first. It's going to be a little bit windy on the top of the building here on the skyline. X Element puts another one on the board, 4-1 up, Quinn.
I mean, again, you don't feel fully comfortable that we've already seen something very similar to this before completely blow up in their face, but they can make me sound like a bumbling idiot right now if they're able to close things out and have a dominant S&D. It would turn the sides of the series as well, because then you have a dominant hardpoint followed by a dominant S&D from the other team. I mean, at that point, who has the clearest win condition is anybody's guess. Still a little bit of room to work here for Skyfox Studio, but they're going to have to start getting pedal to the metal quick.
Talk about pedal to the metal. You're going to hear that RC car trying to get its way into the feed early, at least turn a few heads here, but it's going to be a lot of pressure you have to deal with. A team kill is going to turn this into a 4v2, now into a 4v1, but Mirikami falls, so it's Quit 1v3. An interesting way to get there as well, Quinn. And now has to just decide what he wants to do. He's just going to try to slither his way around this map.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're just going to have rounds like that. At this point for Quit, it's just about stopping any streaks that may be able to be built, maybe even maintaining his. The slide shell is in, but it's only going to go for tags. Now the information onto him. This round surely going to go in the way of Skyfox Studio, especially with the bomb trapped in Narnia. Irons are on. It's just a matter of time. And again, it's just not the round that X Element drew up on the board, but you still have a good cushiony lead. All is said and done.
Yeah, I mean, the early team kill is just kind of throwing a wrench into the plans a little bit there. You do see Quit has an angle onto these players. He gets a couple of tags on in, but nothing really going for him as of yet. And still, with that time just ticking away from him, kind of being that thought in the back of your mind, this just becomes even more difficult for Quit. And finally, Skip, the first chow on out, will be able to find it. But really, it's just about hiding, making sure that Quit's not able to get this bomb plant, making sure that he's not able to get any more free kills.
Yeah, and again, with the 3-streak Quit,
Hello.
Might have been wise to maintain the streak, but he's just going to send it straight forward at that point. Skyfox Studio, the inevitable round, will be favored their way. And again, for X Element, I mean, you're in the driver's seat, but for how long? It's the objects in the mirror that are closer than they appear. Skyfox Studio, first building block to potentially get back into this map.
Starts with one. Skyfox Studio now, as you said, trying to dig themselves out of a hole they've created here early on. And X Element, you talked about the win condition coming into this. We didn't necessarily think it was the S&D for these boys, especially with how fast they like to play on the hard points. But now coming into this one, having a clear win condition, getting this to a 1-1 scoreline, and it's another first blood that goes the way of the boys in pink.
And again, you're just able to completely stabilize yourself out with that. You're eventually going to get the bomb down if you're Skyfox Studio, but again, you just continue to lose out in the bloods. Now a 2v4 with the bomb down. A 2v4 becomes a 1v4. Void has anything to say about it. Jibbian all alone in this spot, and he's just getting traced down. Scoob and the gang showing up, and they're able to solve that mystery. Now for X Element, match point. But we've seen this before.
And it just sounds like a broken record at this point, but I mean, X Element, we've known them for having given away a few leads. I mean, obviously, the last time that they played Skyfox Studio online, they were up 2-0, and that went to a map 5 round 11. They were able to come out on top of it. But again here, Quinn, you're up 5-2. You just need one round to sit this out, get yourself to a 1-1 scoreline. For the moment, X Element's just been playing really, really well in the first blood department. It's just been the name of the game and what's really turned this on its head. Skyfox Studio has to get on top of these first gunfights, and finally one able to go their way.
There you go. Your Skyfox, that has to be the building block, but immediately exchanged on out, and you're just running into the spawns, you're running into the irons. What are you doing? Grim, the last player standing as his entire team just gets reduced to ashes around him. Bomb plant's gonna go down over towards this A site. 3v1, you get a spot, the tags are good, but eventually you're just going to get wrapped around and sent 6 feet under. So X Element, they're able to get it done this time. A 6-2 S&D to follow up the shellacking that they received on the hard point. Makes this series that we build as an interesting one that much more interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, Elias showing up 10-2, and it's what we needed to see. They have 2 sparks out of him in that first map, but complete takeover mode here in map number 2. And he's able to help the boys in pink and X Element find their first map win in this series. And Quinn, we knew that this one was going to be back and forth. We've never seen one of these teams 3-0 the other in quite some time, maybe dating back early in 2024. You head into this one, we're at least going to see that vault hard point in map 4, potentially even that red card map 5 S&D, but it has to get done first through this protocol control. And Quinn, talk to me a little bit between both these teams from what you've seen so far. It's hard to tell who has an edge coming into this one, as it's been 2 dominating map wins from either team.
I feel like this protocol control is a must-win for both of these teams. I mean, you rarely get to a spot where you see such dominance on such different sides of the card, and it comes down to both teams having the exact same win condition. This is that moment right here. Team that takes this protocol control, I'm telling you, this is the team that's going to put themselves in the driver's seat for the rest of this series. Could very well, again, as you said, go to that map number 5. Things could get very interesting, especially if X Element is able to pull off what they just did on the Skyline S and D. But I feel like Skyfox Studio, I mean, we saw the respawn dominance. We saw what can happen when Skip just gets active early. Jibbian as well, an unsung hero. That man was absolutely frying. Protocol Control just known for its ability to get spawn trap mayhem going. I feel like that's Skyfox Studio's game. That's their win condition there. For X Element, you just have to find a lane into this map and maybe have to get a little bit creative.
Yeah, and I think something that has to go well for them is you were able to handle them inside of the S&Ds off those first bloods. As soon as you were able to find the first pick, the numbers game completely turned in your advantage. How are you going to be now facing up against Skyfox Studio when they're constantly able to throw those reinforcements at you, they're constantly able to have those respawns, and you're constantly having to take these gun chows against these guys? It didn't go so well for them in the Hasi and the Hardpoint. You have to see them show a little bit more moxie here in another respawn mode. It is protocol control. It's a lot different, but you talked about it. 1-4 down, and all of a sudden you were in a complete spawn trap central. X Element has to keep their wits about them here very early on the defensive side.
Again, an opportunity on the defensive side to instill their will. That's exactly what you want to see here out of X Element. Early kills will swing their way. As Skyfox Studio, you're in the blender early. You're going to have to find your way out of your own spawn. It's the name of the game, but they're doing a really good job of it early on here, Matt.
Back and forth we will go in the kill department, but it will be X Element that's coming out on top of it now, as 3 straight dead in the feed and already making their way up the map. And I love this play from Elias, slow up the zip, and it continues to find kills for X Element. This is a difficult position now for the side of Skyfox. You have to find your way out.
Just being the thorn in the backside, Elias eventually finally shut down over towards the zip side, and that's going to be Skyfox Studio with an opening opportunity over towards this B side to break things and get things going. They also send a little bit of information overload over towards the A side, but both sides are not going to be the name of the game. You're immediately met with 3 dead in the feed and Grim, the last man standing.
18 playing 24 right now, but all of a sudden it's a 3 dead in the feed, and Skyfox can make their way up the map. You stop the time, you get onto that A site. Devin's really the last one in your spawn. You should be able to deal with him here, but a couple of jukes, a couple of shoulders won't be able to survive for that long. It'll be the pressure on the point now. A site, first tick of progress, almost done.
Just looking to get the stack going. If you're Skyfox Studio, get another player on the hill, but quit. Now he's starting to get active. Now he's starting to cut things down. The reinforcements from Skyfox starting to dwindle. Congestion still in over towards this A side. Grim trying to do the do-si-do, trying to reduce a player to ashes, but it will be him that falls. Melts down 6 feet under. 12 playing 18 on top of it as well, so the life advantage definitely not favoring Skyfox Studios. Time might be the additional factor.
But you just continue to find a couple of kills going your way here if you're Skyfox Studio. You've now got the double pressure here onto this A site, but can you be able to find it? Grim, maybe you're going to go over and touch that B side just to turn a couple of heads, but again, Skyfox Studios are continuing to find kills in the feed. Quinn, 3rd tick of progress is almost done. You've got to get a move on here, and all of a sudden your life advantage has dwindled down to 4, now down to 3.
How quickly the turns can table. I mean, 9 playing 11 here. Skyfox Studio, an opportunity with the extra minute on the board. If they can hit the parlay over towards this side, you can completely reverse the tides of this round. Jibbian with 2 kills on the board is going to make things that much more easy as you finally are able to touch on for the time. You're able to clear out the contention, and now X Element, you have to go.
And this was 24 playing 16 at one point. All of a sudden, it's 7-7. Skyfox Studios might have the pressure, but you have to watch out for Elias, who's able to pop up to the back. He's only able to get 1, though. Second tick of progress should be in here for the side of Skyfox Studios, and is.
Oh.
No respawns remaining now, but you get 5 ticks when it looked like none. This has to be a win for the side of the boys in yellow.
Fortunately, Skip is going to be shut down. So now, again, you're talking about the win condition here. You just got to get one more tick going. Fortunately, the S&D is just going to put you in such a tough spot to do so. In X Element, they're able to bear down at just the perfect time before disaster was able to strike. Things slow down for the time being. You're still very much manageable here, though, if you can turn the tides. Jibbian starting to get active from the back cave as he approaches up the stairs.
And I mean, this is 22 seconds. I mean, they've just been playing their time, trying to play out these kills. They've turned it into a 3v4 S&D round here. You just have to get the first one to go your way. It's a trade that goes either which way, and now you're going to force X Element to make their way on. That's
no way.
Grim, now from the side, not going to be able to find it. It's a 1v2. And how do you make it happen? Murakami has to be a hero, has to be the man to make this play happen. The double tap should be on in, and it will be able to deal with them. Magic won't happen here in round one, but you get ever so close. Get the life advantage now, very manageable. It's only 2 on that whole game, and you also get 5 ticks on your first offensive round.
There's no reason why that round should have gone as long as it did. I mean, X Element, you were in the perfect spot to just clamp down. You eventually do, but it's down to 2v2. I mean, ridiculous the way that Skyfox Studio was able to claw their way out of that, and we talk about it. It's just finding that 3 dead, 4 dead in the feed and completely exploiting the lane now onto the defensive side. And again, this is what we build them as their dominant point, as their Helix Crux on this map. It's going to be what they can do to play the bully ball. For X Element, the question is, what will be their response early?
It's going to be some early pressure here from the side of Skyfox Studios, and I'm loving it out of Javian. Able to find a 2-piece, Skip finds the 3rd, and now it's Elias, who's really the only man left here to do anything about it. He'll try to clear out his lines, try to clear out his spawn, just try to help his team a little bit, but Javian is still lurking and still finding kills.
Yeah, finally, they ripped the Halo invisibility cloak off of him, shut him down, but you still have players that are just wreaking havoc in your backlines. Grim gets out with his life, gives a little bit of a lane here for X Element as they chase him down to maybe make an approach over towards this B side, which is exactly what they will. You still have to deal with Skip, who's found himself in the back cave. That's 4 dead in the feed. So you have presence over towards B, you have presence over towards A, and you have an opportunity here if you're X Element.
How much of an opportunity is it going to be, though? Can X Element hold on here? You do have pressure here starting to amount from the bottom side. You have a couple players trying to get the pinch going as well here, Quinn, but you have to deal with the player in top Grandma's. Void's going to be that first line of defense, and it's going to be so hard to get past him.
Yeah, again, just continuing to wreak havoc. Eventually, Grim will be able to shut him down. The time ticking away over towards A should be in favor of X Element. So an extra minute on the board. You have the life advantage as well if you're X Element. This attacker side round, all things considering, looking really, really good for the boys in pink. As they're also over towards this B side, but Skyfox Studio are there to bat down the initial pressure.
And right now, it's the life advantage. It lies with X Element, but how long does that last when players are currently getting cut out of the spawns? Shots going either which way. Now Murakami refills the position into the spawns and into the back lines. Clock's going to become a factor here eventually, Quinn. You got 124 on it right now. You get a couple of kills to go your way. Where does the pressure towards the hill come? Where does the hit come from here for X Element?
Straight out the back cave. You're going to be in a rude awakening if you're over towards the stairs. Skip gets absolutely jump scared. Murakami's able to hit the regain. 2-for-2 trade is going to stabilize things for Skyfox Studio. So they're able to bat down the initial pressure that you talked about. Again, though, 10 playing for the life disparity, starting to favor X Element that much more. They very much could win it off of the lives here as well, Matt.
9 playing 13, and you've got Elias again just continuing to go to the back lines. I don't think that he's been spotted here either, Quinn. He's going to have a really good position. Grim's going to fall off the map. Whoa. Elias from the back, that's going to be 2 dead, 3 dead in the feed. All of a sudden, it's X Element that can make their way right onto this hill and start garnering these ticks.
Stack is in for Skyfox Studio. It has to be the left foot, right foot express with 5 lives left on top of it as well. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. Finally forced into the S&D. The kills continue to matriculate the way of X Element. Skip will be able to find a reprieve of 1, but it's just going to be done right after that. X Element, regardless of how you cut it, should have this round win in their back pocket. What a aggressive attacker side round we just saw out of these boys to even the tides.
Yeah, I mean, look, they get 5 ticks, you tie them up. The more important part is you're up 2-0, and now you're back on the defensive side. I mean, this is the perfect start to a protocol control you have ever seen. And X Element has seemingly hit another gear there. The S&D giving them a little bit of life in the series. The respawn is back on, looking to a T. And this X Element squad firing on all cylinders here, Quinn, and turning the tides absolutely. But all the momentum, talk about X Element right now. Not only coming off the 6-2 win, Quinn, they're currently on pace to put them 3-0 down in the control. And you talk about just really yanking the rug out from underneath the feet of Skyfox Studios here in this series.
At this stage, what happened to the Skyfox of Hacienda, man? I mean, X Element, they have hit a different form here through these last 2 maps. If things can hold, again, a 2-1 series lead, they position themselves so very well, just batting down every initial instance of pressure here. Skyfox Studio, you'll make your way, at the very least, into your blue building, but that's not really saying a whole lot here as X Element just continues to gun them out of their shoes.
I mean, it's 6 dead before you can even get 2 kills on the side of
My
Skyfox
God.
Studio right now. 29 playing 23, 22 playing 29. Finally, Grim able to equalize 1 back. But again, you are trapped in this P3 building. You finally have players starting to make their way down lower. X Element doing everything right here in the early goings.
Skyfox Studio, at the very least, able to find 2 kills to try and cut their way through the madness that X Element has created. You find a little bit of the lane over towards this A side. You're able to situate yourself. Skip as well in the top grandma side is going to be wreaking a little bit of mayhem, just trying to create as much space as he possibly can for Skyfox Studio to operate with, and starting to close in on the life disparity as well here early as Skyfox Studio.
Second tick of progress. Can you get it locked in here? You've got a lot of pressure on this hill, but Elias is going to be able to find 2. That's big for the side of X Element. They know that they can send the pressure on. They're going to be able to find the kill to go along with it. Skip's going to be able to find 2. Devin, the last one up here. Pistol shots are out, but second tick of progress might be in. And X Element here, now you're going to have to deal with a minute 40 on the clock and about dead even on lives.
17 playing 19, as you said. Skyfox Studio, they've been able to close the distance, but now X Element applying the pressure straight through grandmas. That's a nice clean cookie right there if I've ever seen it. X Element just looking real good once again. Off of this rebreak, Skyfox Studio will go, be able to find a kill to ignite their way over towards this B side.
Elias in through the bottom, but another 2 kills from the side of Skyfox Studios, and now it's 3
wow.
dead in the feed. Void, you have the information onto him as well. You know that he's trapped down in the back cave. You have to worry about the pressure here now upcoming from the front. It's going to be the first tick of progress that should be solidified here. Murakami's not seeing anything towards the backside. Has to be heavy calls that they're coming through mid here.
This has to be here. It has to be the comms. X Element has to make the read, and they will at the very least be able to find these 2 kills. But you have to deal with the players that are on the hill. Skip continuing to get that second tick of progress. It looks like he will be able to secure it for the boys in yellow. Makes that job that much more easy. X Element, they're finally able to hit the wipe. They're finally able to stabilize their way on into this hill. Jibian will fall as well. So the reset surely in. Skyfox Studio, the damage continues to be done.
And you don't get that second tick either, Quinn. That's the big part of it for me, because now you only have 58 seconds left. You got to get both ticks. You don't have the lives in your favor. You try to even them up there. You have players here for the backside for X Element continuing to lock down these spawns, but Skip's going to be able to find 2 and try to force Skyfox Studios right into this.
Be the X factor here and looking to get a lane for his team to make this operation happen. 6 playing 6 as well. So now the lives being the additional factor here, it could very well come down to who is going to find the final kills. X Element with the life up now sliding their way on in, putting Skyfox Studio into an S&D scenario over towards their own spawn. They're going to have to play this one very carefully.
Yeah, and even though it's only a 2 life advantage, it's still so much for the side of Skyfox Studios to overcome. Now you only have 3 players still left standing here, 20 seconds left on the clock. You have to force the issue here on towards the point. Skip will be able to find his way in, a little duck-a-dip-a-dodge, and now you find 2 kills. Now into the 3v3, you know both players are going to be coming off respawn. Opportunity here for the side of Skyfox Studio, but Void could shut everything down from the top.
Void's gonna shut another kill down. It's all gonna come down to Skip. He's trying to get the time. He's trying to get an opportunity. Just some reprieve, but it will not be found. X Element 3-0 on the protocol control. Set themselves up real pretty looking down the rest of this series. Looking to take revenge from that Miami LAN against the Skyfox Studio boys.
And Quinn, ever since almost getting put in the 100-point club in that first map, 6-2-3-0 in your alternative game modes to hardpoint, and it's been perfect from the side of X Element rebounding after that map 1 loss. You head now into Vault hardpoint. Obviously, your win condition is laid out very obviously for both of these 2 teams. If you're on the side of Skyfox Studio, you have to be able to stay true to that hardpoint prowess that you showed in the first map to even get it to a map 5. And if you're on the side of X Element, you just have to keep the wind in your sails. You have to keep this thing rolling. And even if it does go to that map 5, you've shown what you've been able to do inside of the S&D game mode. Everything going the way of X Element here right now. You got 2 chances to close this thing out.
Yeah, the wind fully in their sails, but Matt, I mean, the red card S&D just sitting there, it just feels like an opportunity for deja vu. It just feels like poetry in motion. And again, it's a very convincing argument to make that Skyfox Studio, with the dominance that they showed on Hacienda Hardpoint, if there's any point that they can hit a regain, it feels like this Vault Hardpoint would very much be where they can. Again, a very snowballable map. We know how fast these boys are going to want to play. We saw their ability to rotate on top of it as well. It just feels like they play such a fundamental, sound hardpoint game. For the side of X Element, they're going to have to be very quick on the rotations and also keep up in the gunny. They've proven that they can keep up in the gunny in a control. Can they do it on the hardpoint side of things is the question.
Yeah, and what I've kind of seen from a lot of teams, particularly here in the UFGL, is they are either just really, really good at control, or control just does not go their way. It's not their game mode that they like to play, and it seems that way for a lot of teams in BO6, right? Control is just a very hit or miss situation for a lot of teams, just because of how it plays this year. It's that 1-4 dead spawn trap repeat style. And some teams just kind of thrive, and some teams we see have kind of gone behind the bus a little bit. You head back into a hard point, and you said it. This is a map that can be very, very snowballable for you. And what we really love to see and what we talk about all the time, putting all the chips in for that P4, right? You make P1 as mixy as you can. You make P2 as mixy as you can. You hold P4 side of the map for P3, and then you lock in for that full 60. We've seen teams win this game almost completely off of P4 before on Vault. You're looking to see it here tonight once again to kind of be that mainstay and maybe kind of the thing that changes things here in this map.
X Element currently up 2-1 in the series, looking for a red carpet finish, but Skyfox Studio on the other side of the coin looking to take us to red card. I'm going to go ahead and send it to a quick break. We will be back with Vault. Here we go. Map number 4, Vault Hardpoint. X Element currently up 2-1 in the series. The last time we were on Hardpoint, it was the Skyfox Studio show. P1 online. Let's get it going.
And already into the Void will be Void as he's able to find 2 Elias, picks up the 2 kills as well. That's a 4 dead in the feed and immediately aggressing up into the spawns here of Skyfox Studio. X Element, perfect start to P1, and it couldn't have drawn up better.
Just backing them up. They still have to maintain these spawns, though. Skyfox Studio, they will be able to spawn in over towards his P2 side, but getting diced to pieces is surely going to change that narrative. X Element already 20 points on the board off of P1 alone with these good side spawns as well, but here comes Skyfox Studio.
Back into the fray, at least for the moment here. But again, the damage has been done. They find 23 points off this P1. They flip the spawns around for P2, and it's exactly the start that X Element wanted to see here. You're continuing to just make it mixy and force them further back on. X Element going to be set up fully here for P2, and not going to get about 10-15 seconds of uncontested time to start this thing out, Quinn.
My God, I mean, it's just a complete reversal of the tides. Everything that we saw in that first map has completely been flipped on its head, and X Element is just reassuming the power position. Trades go back and forth over towards his P2 side, as Skyfox Studio will eventually be able to find their way in, but X Element still going to maintain these backside spawns, an opportunity to fight their way through.
From GBN, good onto the first, and Grim will find a second. Skyfox Studio tries to solidify themselves towards the backside. X Element still trying to just knock down the back door, but right now getting knocked down themselves and getting spawned out to the nether realm. It'll still be Skyfox Studios moving around the hill and now getting themselves into it for some more time.
Again, this can be a very good money hill if Skyfox Studio can continue to find these kills, which they are very much doing. X Element another lane from behind, but unfortunately for them, they're just not finding the same kills that we saw. You already see a player over towards that top art side that's going to be Void. As you said, the importance of playing for these P4 spawns is going to show early. He's got to be very careful, though, because number 1 on the minimap, Jibian, is going to make his way into the top side art as well, and could completely turn things in favor of Skyfox Studio as we head over towards P3.
Big moment here in this hard point that could change things around. You mentioned it perfectly, and JBM will be able to find the first, solidify that backside pressure for the side of Skyfox Studio, and now he can just rain down the Hellfire in shots here, and it's going to be all yellow. Quinn will be able to find one, though, and make things a little bit more manageable, but the 3-for-1 trade will go their way. And again, now Skyfox Studios fully solidified with these spawns over towards P4.
Element just trying to find a lane, trying to get a little bit of time off of this P3 as well, because their early lead has been vanquished, and Skyfox Studio reassuming that power position that we know them for on the hard points within this series so far. You see Void slip through, but unfortunately for him, you just have so many power positions that you have to deal with if you're X Element. Skyfox Studio, full control of the map to this point. They're going to be real good set up with that P4 rotation in mind.
I mean, this is exactly what we said they had to do, Quinn. You make P3 as mixy as you can. You play the White Hill time. Now you work for P4. But look at Elias, who snuck his way in here, Quinn. Will he be aware of this positioning as he has just laid in wait this entire time?
I love this. He's on the top side. You're maybe not going to read this. He goes down the stairs,
timing.
but it's just the con timing of the century. Jivian is there to continue his spree that's currently built up to 8. A Hellstorm in mind. He's looking to make that happen. Murakami on the outskirts with 3 kills on the board is further going to solidify. And we talk about the importance of this P4. Skyfox Studio is textbook from them early.
You talk about the importance of COD timing right there. If Elias is just 2 seconds later down that, he shoots everyone in the back. Instead, it's the back shots delivered onto him, and now it's Skyfox Studios exploding their way right on into the hill. And X Element, there's nothing that you can do. It is Fort Knox right now here towards this P4 side.
And again, it's just such a hard hill to break your way on into. It's just the lockdown play the Skyfox Studio played so perfectly for. For X Element, you just have to cut your losses. You looked so good on the early stretch, with P1 being a very good money hill for you. P2 looked equally as good. Skyfox Studio just take full command of the map from that point forward, though. They're setting things up real good into this P1 side.
Somebody better stop JB before he drops a Dreadnought right now. He's on 10 in a row, just continuing to put people in the grave and continuing to just this streak along. Now he's going to be playing from the top side here, Quinn. What's he going to be able to find? Sneaking around to the back of Skyfox Studio, looking up at the scoreboard here,
God.
Quinn. 135 to 49, and JBN is now on an 11 streak.
He's got the Dreadnought. He can call it in. Make it happen. Make it happen, JBN. The stuns come through. No! It's a beautiful streak. So Skyfox Studio will use that to make their way into this P1 side. But X Element, they're going to be able to stabilize for now. Skyfox Studio, though, I mean, it's just the Gunny of Jibian that just seems to be unstoppable at this stage.
I mean, it just seems like all of Skyfox Studio, that's unstoppable right now. I mean, even though JB in 15 and 6, Grim is 17 and 14, challenging every person he sees, whether he wins it or loses it. Just being that first line of entry is so important for Skyfox Studio right now. X Element surely on the back foot, trying to make their way on into this P2, but you're getting cut down off the crossers. It's 3 dead in the feed, 4 dead in the feed, and the boys in yellow absolutely rolling right now.
It just feels like we're back on Hacienda. It just feels like the same thing in a different font. I mean, you said it best when the nades are connecting like a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. It's beautiful scenes here for Skyfox Studio. X Element, no credence on this map, a nearly 100-point lead, and on the verge potentially of being a 100-point club. I mean, hardpoint might just not be the thing for these boys.
No, and I mean, when Skyfox Studios is throwing nades like MVP of the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts, I mean, it's just really difficult to deal with. As X Element right now, 69 points, nice number, but not a nice score when you're down 185 right now. Skyfox Studio is putting them in the dirt. And Quinn, red card map 5 looks like it is an inevitability at this point.
Again, poetry in motion, absolute cinema. Oh, the funny number's gone. X Element, why would you do that to us? Skyfox Studio, though, I mean, it's just full map control. You got the player down over towards top art on top of it as well, and Jibian's just gonna spawn right there. 3 map control for the side of Skyfox Studio. So when things feel like it can't possibly get worse, you just get put further in the blender.
This is tough to watch at this point from X Element. You do make a little bit of credence here with Elias with the back lines. You're able to find one, but Elias, he's going to have to do a lot of work towards this backside here, and it's going to be the information read by Skip as well. He should be able to shut this down, and it will be as well. Skyfox Studio, they are playing for this P4. You get on for a little bit of scrap time here on P3, but already those players starting to work their way around.
And again, this P4 was such a money hill. It was the time the tides turned within this series and within this map specifically. For Skyfox Studio, I mean, you have your lane back into the mix of this. You do have to deal with Void, though, who once again has worked his way over towards this P4 side. A big play needed from Skip is not going to be found. So hold on, wait a minute. Things not over quite yet, as X Element are in for at least a little bit of time.
Big moment here for X Element. They have to solidify here on this. They have to hold if they want any chance to get back into this hard point. Quinn, you already have Skip working his way through the back lines. Able to find that first. It's going to go 1-for-1 trades, but now into the hill. Murakami will try to find his way, but Quinn, again, Fort Knox hold like from X Element right now, just trying to hold on to this P4.
There's just not a whole lot that you can do here if you're Skyfox Studio on the other side of the coin, but say, hey, we have a nearly 100-point lead, we're fine. They're instead gonna say, you know what, we have a 100-point lead, and that's not enough. Job not finished, boys. They are into B4. They cannot win it off of this, but it's just the brute force technique that proves to be the name of their game. For X Element, you desperately need this time.
You desperately need it here. 120 is all you have amounted here, Quinn, and you are not gonna get past JBM when he is gunning like that. 25 and 13 continues to go on a spree. It is allowed 233 to 120 after 2 sets of rotations, Quinn.
I mean, as we say in the game, absolutely shit on, dude. Skyfox Studio looking to run away with this one, but X Element, they're going to have this rotation over towards the P1 side. How much reprieve will that truly provide them when Skyfox Studio has 17 points needed to take this one here and now? They still have more than enough time off of P1 to win it. They're just playing with their prey.
Just waiting for the perfect pinch to come on through. You already find 2 big kills up into the fray. Now it's the full-on hit from the side of Skyfox Studio. You find 2 big kills, though. It's a 3-for-1 trade from the side of X Element. You still leave 1 player alive, though, in Murakami, who's able to dance, duck, and dodge, but he's not quite able to walk away with his life.
For Skyfox Studio, you have these P2 spawns, so worst case scenario, you don't get a single second off of P1, you're set up for success to win it over towards this P2 side. Eventually, time's going to tick away, you can't win it off of P2, but you can get pretty damn close, or excuse me, P1. Can get very damn close. X Element, I mean, it's just the fleeting cause on the hard point at this stage.
6 points left. Skyfox Studio just needs to get this last couple of seconds to get us to this map 5, Quinn. You talked about it. You wanted the storybook. You wanted the absolute script ending, and you're gonna get it. It's gonna be the last 4 seconds needed, and Skyfox Studios once again will absolutely dominate X Element inside of the hard point. We will go one more map. Red card, S&D the venue. Another map 5, another storybook ending between these two rivals.
And hey, again, we said it. We've been here before. We have literally been here before between these two teams. Things have changed, but have they truly changed is the question. Can Skyfox Studio get their revenge from that league play, or does X Element get their revenge from them knocking them out of the Miami land? One could be argued to be a little bit more vengeful seeking than the other at this stage. But it's a bitter, bitter rivalry between these two teams, and it's giving us everything that we could possibly ask for, especially with how the other 3 games that were supposed to go tonight happened. So red card S&D coming up next. And I mean, you saw how X Element was able to apply the pressure on the Skyline S&D, but this map feels like it could be a little bit different. Skyfox Studio gets working early.
Yeah, it's more about playing the routes, playing the slow game, working together as a team. It's not that normal bang out that we saw on Skyline. Very opposing maps here in terms of how you play them. And Quinn, just a weird thing that I want to mention here. 250 to 111, 250 to 152. Absolute dominating performances. 6-2-3-0 for the side of X Element. Also absolute domination. So it's very interesting to see how the start of this map plays out, right? Quinn, we've seen dominating wins all night long between these teams, even though they've split them 2-2. You head into the red card, and it almost feels like the team that can bank that early lead early on should be able to walk away with this one, judging by how the last few maps have played. Yeah,
I think the importance of this S&D is who's going to strike blood first. And I think, again, we saw X Element dominant in that regard. But I think a map like Red Card S&D, it gives a player, specifically I'm looking towards Skip on the side of Skyfox Studio, an opportunity to kind of get lost on this map. We've seen him get lost on those hard points. We've seen him get lost specifically on the Hacienda hard point, where it just, again, felt like he had the Halo Invisibility Cloak equipped at most points. If he can open up with that first blood and get into the back lines, it sets Skyfox Studio up with an opportunity. But we've, again, seen X Element be able to maintain the first blood game. Feels like they're bread and butter as we jump into this S&D.
And it will be interesting to see how Skyfox wants to play this here. Murakami will have the bomb in hand. It looks like they'll send Grim around on a little bit of a wrap here to watch the outside. But Void, again, the first blood machine that he is, just continues to do it here in map number 5 and when it's needed most.
It's so good as well because he's able to back out with his life. Eventually, it will be exchanged. Skyfox Studio able to stabilize into a 3v3, but you are not feeling comfortable enough in the kitchen to get this plant down. There's immediate forces here for X Elements. Void buys enough time for the boys in white start to try and fly forward.
2v2 now, though, as Devin's able to equalize right on. Back to the side of X Element. The shots from Elias playing the little horns are clean, and he's able to find the redirect onto the other. So now Grim melts the last one alive inside the 1v2. Tags on in early, but he's going to have to play with his life here. Pistol shots out for the first. Can he be able to find the second? He's going to be out of ammo, and he's not going to be able to find it. X Element, a little bit mixier than they would have liked, but is able to walk away with the round.
And again, it's just everything that Void did to set the team up for success. Not only does he get the first blood mat, but he's able to back out and he's able to buy just enough time to where Skyfox Studio does not feel comfortable getting that bomb down. He buys just enough time for the rotation of X Element to where that entire round for Skyfox Studio felt like you're walking on ice. You're just not able to get any credence, even if you get a couple of kills, even if at one point you go up a man. Now X Element on the attacker side themselves. Question becomes, what does Skyfox Studio look like on defense?
Will be in hand of Elias here for the side of X Element. As you mentioned, it is in their court. And again, this is the similar start that we saw before being able to control the first bloods. But now how does it play for X Element on a little bit of a tougher task? JV will be able to find the first blood back for Skyfox. So now, man up, a good position here for the side of Skyfox to maybe equalize in terms of rounds.
It just does his best Void impression there. Just backs out of the fray and plays his life. That's exactly what you need to be doing there if you're Gibeon. Players that can be so aggressive, but it's the calculated aggression that's the defining factor. Grim with all the information in the world, the shots to connect on top of it. Nade over the top is going to back quit up, and that's the bomb down on top of it. So now for X Element, you are in a tough spot to recover any semblance of this round.
Yeah, and just offensive rounds don't come as easy as they do on Skyline. And again, I mean, you telling me
Jalen Hurts is Skip.
Throw? You telling me that's not a Jalen Hurts-like throw? Bombs from 60 yards deep. Skyfox Studio finds their first round on the board.
Bro wins the Super Bowl and then hops on to play UFGL. You know what? I'm not an Eagles fan, but I see why you are, Matt. This is beautiful scenes here from the side of Skyfox Studio, namely Skip, who starts off with a 3-1 KD. Again, just the impact player, and looking to see him get lost a little bit, looking to see him create that space for Skyfox Studio. On the attacker side, they will go. They were able to play blow by blow. Will they be able to find that first blood that we always talk about?
Bomb in hand to Skip this time. Maybe looking for a little bit more aggression here towards the outside, over towards B. Gonna have a little bit of players here, though, laying in wait. Void being one of them, as well as Devin trying to make his way up into the fray. But I love how Skip has found himself into this position.
Just slipping his way through. Will he be able to find the impact? The shots are in, but they're not going to be good, and that's the bomb down on top of it. So now for Skyfox Studios, about the recovery, you just continue to connect on the nades. They've got 4 Jalen Hurtses on this team. This time it's Gibeon. X Element, though, with all the information to work with, all the angles to use, going to find themselves in a favorable man advantage as it's just Murakami a 1v3.
And Void, big 2-piece in the middle of that to be able to change things around as now Skyfox Studios. You mentioned, I mean, all Murakami has to do right now, he can just back up. He has to wait for one of these players to chow on out. You see it, multiple X Element players just going to collect themselves inside this restaurant. And now it's the information on to Murakami as well. 30 seconds left in the round, and this one should be surely over unless it's going to be a masterclass out of Murakami.
Yeah, 25 seconds left on the board, and I feel like even Murakami knows that this one is pretty much out of the realm of possibility, but still, let's see what he can do. Gets a little bit of information. The headshot is good. The kill is there. So you do take care of one of those streaks. Still X Element building towards multiple of those. Eventually recollect the bomb, but you just meet the irons of Void, and he'll send you to the Shadow Realm. X Element, another defensive round on the board. An opportunity to start to take that driver's seat. Does feel like it's going to come down to who's going to take that first attacker side round here, Matt.
Yeah, and I don't mind the play from Skip, just getting aggressive and getting early. That's what we know him for, and really trying to become that first blood machine for the side of Skyfox Studio, but you can't really make that aggressive play when you have the bomb. Once the bomb gets trapped inside of the site, it basically becomes a retake for the side of Skyfox Studio. You're not able to find enough players in towards that bar area. X Element just funnels them in, hits the setup perfectly. And you mentioned it, Quinn. What side is going to be able to show up on offense first that really kind of flips the script for this entire map 5?
Oh, I love this from Skip, and if he can find the value, it's going to be massive. Gets that first kill, gets out with his life, and completely throws everything into disarray for the side of X Element. You have that bomb over towards the B side, but you just cannot find the lane to make your way on in. Devin has slipped his way into the back lines, and with a kill could maybe stabilize things out, but it's just going to be tags. All the information for Skyfox Studio now to work with.
Both these players just holding hands with the bomb as they try to just back their way on out. You still have 3 players left standing here for the side of X Element. You just need 1 kill to equalize things out. But again, Quinn, you look at the time here, 44 seconds. Once they get the information onto this, there's going to be nothing that X Element could do. And now Devin is dropped as well into the 2v4. They will go.
This is just such a tough spot because Skyfox Studio, I mean, every step of the way, they are reading you. They had you over towards B. Get your number over towards the A side. The rotation is so swift and quick. Gibeon is just skeet shooting over towards the stage side. Skyfox Studio. Perfect round on the board to equalize this out once again. Just 2 defensive heavyweights in the ring right now going at it.
And Quinn, you talked about, storybook ending between both of these teams. Obviously, the bad blood coming from LAN. How fitting would it be if they go to another Map 5 Round 11 here on Red Card between both these teams? Obviously, X Element winning the last online battle between both of these teams. Skyfox, the one that sent X Element home in Miami. They're looking for a little bit of revenge right now, but it's not coming as easy as they like.
Two of the OG UFGL teams trying to prove that they can run with the new dogs and trying to get one up on one another. Skyfox Studio, immediate pressure into the middle portion of the map, but not a whole lot of credence being found here as X Element continues. Send the good tags in and eventually finds that first blow that we know him for. Immediately traded out though, so you're able to mitigate that early pressure. You just see X Element postered up and ready to send in some more shots.
Yeah, the problem for Skyfox is you're kind of trapped back in your spawn. You haven't really left this area. Now X Element can start sending players on the wrap, start sending players on pinches. And you already see one here from Devin. He's going to like hit up from the underside, and I absolutely love it. Oh, no. Oh, please.
Hey, I mean, a little bit of elevator music before you pop out. You hand out a couple of shots from behind. Devin, another kill on the board is going to put X Element in another favorable spot. Completely turns the heads of everybody on Skyfox Studio as well, because now you have a player in your back lines that you have to worry about. Just don't feel comfortable at this stage.
No, not at all. And again, 23 seconds left, so you've got to start to get a move on as well. You're trying to check every single area you can. But X Element, they're looming around. They have all three players here ready to fight this. And again, you only have 14 seconds to plant the bomb, Quinn.
Just not a long time. You have to win it through the kills. Jibian will be able to strike for the first. Skip looking to strike from behind for the second, maybe the third as well. Devin has to play his life. He's not able to. We talk about the pendulum and we talk about the importance of the attacker's side round. Through the throes of chaos, it's Skip and Skyfox Studio that will strike first.
You said it. He had to be the X factor for this squad. He had to figure out a way to get into the back lines, be that thorn in the backside, and chaos. It's exactly what he's able to do inside of that round, Quinn, and he called it to a T as it gives Skyfox Studios their first offensive win and the first offensive win here in Map 5.
Here we go. Position to take that revenge. Storybook finish that we've been talking about time and time again. What does the mental resolve look like from the side of X Element? How are they going to strike back? Now the bomb in their court. Full aggression, full throttle into this middle portion of the map. The first line of defense is going to be Skip, and he's going to find that first blood. The nade's going to go out, and it's just going to push X Element back that much more.
Devin's going to try to be able to find the refrag to go, but it's just not going to work. Quick's going to drop towards the outside, and X Element all worse for wear. Now into the 2v4. Both players push deep back into the spawn, and this is just going to be an absolute difficult spot to find your way out of.
Yeah, you are just completely boxed in if you're on the side of X Element. Void will be able to at least find one over towards the B side, but there's more where that came from as Grim postered up, ready to have a nice, clean line of shots. Side of X Element, the question becomes, what do you do in a spot like this? Maybe flirting with the side of A. That's exactly where Jibian's going to be set up here. Opportunity to just clamp down.
Really, you're just trying to isolate things out. You want this favorably to go into a 2v2 before you try to get this bomb down. But again, with 24 seconds left, you're not going to really have a lot to choose from. You have to go, and you have to go now. Skip's going to be that first line of defense that we love to talk about. He might be able to find the first, but he won't. Now things into the 2v2. Both these players isolated on other sides of the map. This becomes very, very awkward for the side of Skyfox if they're not able to find this first kill.
Tags are out. Jibian on the other side of the coin should be able to strike at the perfect time. Just has to play the life. No time to make the bomb plant go down. The kill will come through. And the round will come the way of Skyfox Studio as well. So they create a nice cushion for themselves within red card S and D. 4-2 lead now, Matt. For the side of X Element, it's starting to look like your window's closing.
Window's closing, and it's closing fast right now. Back-to-back rounds from the side of Skyfox Studios. They're able to get the 2-round advantage, and now, yes, they go back onto the offensive side, Quinn, but again, if you win all the rest of your defensive rounds from here on out, you win this map and you win this series. X Element has to find a way to turn the tides.
Felt like they needed that round right there, Matt. You had an instance, you had an opportunity, but Skyfox Studio able to strike back. Now within striking distance of taking the series, taking us in a Game 5. Elias getting very aggressive here. He has to play his life so perfectly, though. Has to make the right read. Skyfox Studio, they're slipping their way on through.
Oh, it's the first kill that comes through from Jabian, but traded right back from Elias. But again, it's the 2-for-1 opening that will go the way of Skyfox Studio. X Element, you're on the defensive side as well, and we're just, yeah. It feels like that kind of game.
I'm sorry. Bomb plant over towards that A side, though. I mean, Matt, this is just going to make an unwinnable spot feel that much more. Break the glass, just trying to find a lane, trying to find an operation that you can make work. Jimmy from that top side. This just doesn't look like a winnable spot.
Oh, And not when the shots are absolutely beaming like that. You got 24 seconds left, though. Void is able to find the first kill. He gets himself into a 1v2. Things are a little bit more manageable. But again, time being the additional factor, has to find the defuse and just not going to be able to find anything. Skyfox Studio banging rounds at will at this point. And X Element, you've got to make the 5-2 comeback happen if you want to win this series.
Hey, but a wise man once said, you gotta go 5-2 down to make a 5-2 comeback. X-Element, come on, baby. My pick'ems are on the line. This is devastating. Skyfox Studio, the resolve that they have shown, though, on this S&D, especially after that last Skyline S&D, the way that they've reshaped themselves to play the way that X-Element played, play for those first bloods, it's so good. It's just fundamental S&D from these boys now as they position themselves with map point, series point.
JBN will be here 10-3. Will be the first man we're hopping on with, as this is one closeout round away. Skyfox Studios just needs to hold on here, as X Element needs the ultimate, almost full sail to make their way back into this one. It's going to be the information and the first blood already for Skyfox.
Devin's able to exchange it out. You not only need the first bloods, you need your first attacker side round, and Devin might make it happen. 2 kills on the board, quit with the third. It all comes down to Murakami in a 1v3. So hold on, wait a minute. Over towards the top side, they're going to get the read onto him, but it's going to be enough pressure to get that bomb down at the very least. Set yourself up for a lot of success here. Murakami, what do you got?
Devin should have the angle onto him here, and now the information should be given away for both of these players. Murakami not going to be able to find the Chow. Devin just trying to play Weekaboo with him, just trying to play Ring Around the Rosie, but he will meet his demise. Now it's into a 1v1. Quinn, still 24 seconds left here. This is a makeable play.
20 seconds left. Quit and Void holding strong. Just have to play the bomb sightline. Just have to play the angle. The defuse being the additional factor here for Murakami might just put this out of the realm of possibility as tags, but nothing else to be found. You just got to hop on the defuse, and the prayer is not going to be answered. X Element able to find their first attacker side round, but at this stage, Matt, is it too little too late?
Well, hey, last week, they give up a 5-1 lead. This week, you make a 5-2 comeback, potentially here.
Hey.
You find your first offensive round win, as you mentioned, Quinn. So at least potentially turning the tides back in their favor. The bomb goes back in the hands of Skyfox. X Element just has to set up well on the defense. You do the hardest part in finding that first round. You avoid losing the series. You extend things ever so slightly. But again, is it inevitable? Can you delay it?
Back on the defensive side. Have had a little bit more success on this side if you're X Element. Skyfox Studio, their attacker side rounds have been so very good, and Skip, looking to continue the trend, just barrels his way through like the Kool-Aid man, says hello and goodbye to Devin. X Factor for this squad on the defensive side, shut down early. Now trying to trace their way over towards B.
Quit will be able to find one off screen, though, that will trade things back into a 3v3. And look at where Void has kind of found himself. I'm not sure if they've made themselves aware to his positioning quite yet. He may have the perfect time to strike here. Pops through, finds one, finds two. And it's exactly the play you want to see from Void.
He's been so good for this team. Completely puts that bomb, traps it in Narnia. We've seen Grim make some crazy things happen before, though. 36 seconds left to make magic happen. Close this round out. Skyfox Studio, the first shot's gonna be sent through. Just tags, but no kill. Elias plays a little bit of peekaboo and sends him to the ICU. X Element, another round on the board for Skyfox Studio. Hey, Matt, you said it best. X Element's been in that spot before. Skyfox Studio maybe getting a taste of their medicine.
Yeah, and I mean, you just don't want to allow X Element back into this map, and it's exactly what you've done. It's now 2 rounds in a row. It was the first offensive round win from the side of X Element. They parlay it right into their next defensive round. You need one more here to get you to that round 11. Once again, between these two teams, we've seen it once. Can we see it twice? X Element, you need it here. You just need one to get it to a round 11. Skyfox, you just need one to close things out.
For X Element, you need one on the attacker side. We've detailed it ad nauseum. These are tough to come by. You might just completely slip through the defense. Murakami, the first line of defense in this bar side, is going to strike for the first kill, though. Completely nullifies the bomb plant. Now for Skyfox Studio, man advantage is taken away.
I mean, we're throwing right now. It's a team nade who is in, and now it's into the 3v3. Bomb is being recollected, but how do you deal with these players that are right outside here for the side of X Element? You're afraid to plant this bomb. You don't feel like you have enough credence here. Devin is Frosty will go for it. A little bit of ballsy plant here. Will be able to go down, and that's going to change things around for the side of Skyfox.
Skip. He is the X factor of this play here for Skyfox on the wrap. Has to time this out perfectly with Murakami on the other side of the coin. You're sending players every which where through the door. Skip will go. He'll find the first kill for free. And now if you're X Element, you don't know where these players are coming from. You'll eventually be able to back down one. Murakami comes on in. Back and forth we go. It comes down to the 1v1. Quit versus Skip. The tags are in, but not the kill. Quit looking for the center. It's not going to happen. The body shots to go as Skip calls the round and calls the game. Skyfox Studio take the series 3-2.
Oh, and absolutely breaking X Element hearts in the back end of that map. It started to be a run. It started to be a couple of rounds in a row, and you started to think for just a second that X Element was going to make the ultimate comeback. But Skyfox Studios puts the nail in the coffin, walks away with the series, and continues to show you who the big brother is here in this brotherly rivalry.
I mean, brotherly, bitter. I mean, it's just this is every single time these two teams play. What are you going to get other than absolute cinema? We love to say it. We'll say it one more time. Again, just renewing the rivalry once again. Last time we saw it was out in Miami on Sunday. The opportunity to go to Sunday. 3-1 win for Skyfox Studio. They're starting to stack the wins. As X Element, you have two dominant maps in the mix of it, but you're just not able to get it done when it matters most. Mental regain, mental resilience, and the X Factor in Skip, the new additions for Skyfox Studio, continuing to show that they have promise.
Yeah, and I mean, now it's 3 straight hardpoint losses for the side of X Element as well. I mean, dating back to their last game against Houston, and now with the 2 hardpoints in this one. I mean, Quinn, obviously, you give up the 5-1 lead on the S&D last week, but I think the bigger question mark and the bigger problem at the moment right now is the hardpoints. I mean, you just cannot seem to get it going in the respawn game mode. The control goes your way tonight, but again, if they weren't able to come out on top of that, this is a 3-1 series dusted, and that's it. Fortunately, not able to make good on the S&D either towards the back end. And really, I mean, it just seemed like a lot of moments for X Element that they just weren't able to capitalize on here in this series.
I mean, we always say it, S&D wins championships for Skyfox Studio. It was definitely the hard points. These boys putting belt to ass. And X Element, as you said, just no reprieve there, folks. That is going to do it, though, for our coverage. And again, cut a little bit short, but we will definitely be back on Thursday with some more matches. Before we close things out, though, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Swordog, Happy Vibes, and Glitch Energy! ! Happy Vibes to learn more. I can personally say there are some happy vibes to be found when you get some of those gummies going. That's going to be it. We're going to go ahead and see you guys on Thursday for round 2, day 4. 7 CT.